Okay, operations with fractions. We're going to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. First, we're going to add fractions. So step 1, we need to find a common denominator. So when you have whole numbers, just leave the whole numbers alone. Okay, I like writing it vertically. I'm not sure how your previous teachers have taught you, if they taught you different in 6th grade. Okay, so first we got to find the common denominator for 7 and 3. You can just multiply 7 and 3 together to find your common denominator. That's fine, but you always want to try to find your least common denominator so you don't have to simplify a lot at the end. Okay, in this case, I'll use 21. So 3 times 7 gives me 21, so I got to do the same to my numerator. 2 times 7, we get 14. Okay, so now our top fraction, 7 times 3 gives me my 21. So I got to multiply that top number by the same thing. So 3 times 3, we get 9. Okay, now I can go ahead and add 9 plus 14, we get 23 over 21. Okay, 5 plus 4, we get 9. If you notice, we can't have an improper fraction. Our 23 is bigger than 21. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can divide 23 into 21 and see how many times it goes into it. Or you know that you can pull out a whole 21 from 23. Okay, if you notice, if I were to subtract, I get 2 left over. So that means it makes it a 10. Then you'll have 2 out of 21 left over. Okay, if you did it the dividing way, 23 to 21, it goes in only one time. 23 minus 21, we get 2, so that's where we get 1. You're going to put the remainder up top, and then the 1 on the outside becomes your denominator. So then now you have 9 plus 1 into 21, 2 over 21, which still gets you 10 over 2 21s. Okay, they're both the same. Either way works. All right, next you have, is subtracting fractions. Okay, so here it's the same concept. I'm going to put it going vertically. It's up to you on how you were taught previously. I've seen some going horizontally. Okay, so I think our least common denominator is 35 when we multiply them together. Okay, so 5 times 7 gives me 35, so I got to do the same thing to my numerator. So 2 times 7, we get 14. So down here, 7 times 5 gives me 35. So 4, you do the same thing to your numerator. 4 times 5, we get 20. Erg, I did not want to borrow. Okay, we can't take 14 from 20, so we're going to have to borrow, so this makes it a 5. So when you take out a whole number, so you're taking out a whole 1, that means it comes to 35 out of 35. Okay, because you're pulling that whole number out. So we're going to add that together. We get, I did not want this to work out like that. 49 out of 35. So now I can take 49 minus 20. We get 29 out of 35. 5 minus 3, we get 2. And that's as small as it goes. Okay, I really hated that example that I gave y'all. I wish I gave you prettier numbers. I could do, let's see, I'm winging it now. 1/3 minus a half, I think. Okay, let's switch that. We're gonna do 1/2 minus 1/3. So that means our common denominator would be 6. 3 times 2 gives me 6. So I gotta do the same to my numerator. 1 times 2 gives me 2. Okay, 2 times 3 gives me 6. So I gotta multiply the same thing up top. 1 times 3 gives me 3. So 3 minus 2 gives me 1, and you keep your denominator. That's a lot prettier than having to borrow, but now you can see both ways. All right. Multiplying fractions. Okay, when you multiply with a whole number in front, you're going to convert it to an improper fraction, meaning you're going to do 3 times 7, we get 21. Then you're going to add your numerator, so 21 plus 6, we get 27. You're going to keep that denominator. Times 4 times 2, okay, 4 times 2, we get 8, plus 3, so 8, 9, 10, 11, we get 11 over 4. Keep that same denominator, and when multiplying with fractions, you multiply straight across. Okay, so let's see, 27 times 11. We get 297. And then 7 times 4, we get 28. So now we have an improper fraction, so we got to convert. So we are going to divide. 28 can't go into 2. It goes into 29 once. So I'm going to bring down my 7. Can't go into 17, so it goes in 0 times. Whoops. So let's add in our decimal. I'm going to bring down a 0. I'm going to hope that goes in 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Add 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think this is going to keep going on and on. Whoops. Whoops. Oh my goodness, my husband is distracting me from his gaming. Alright, this decimal is going to keep going on and on and on. But once you get it, you'll get 10.5, so on and so forth. Let's do some prettier numbers. We'll stick with the 1/3 times the 1/2. Same thing. Fractions multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 we get 1. 2 times 3 we get 6. So there's our 1/6. Alright. Did not want this video to be this long. Dividing fractions. Let's get rid of these whole numbers just to make things easier. Alright. Let's see if it works out this way. So we're going to have 1/3 divided by 2/3. Okay, your rule is to remember to keep change flip. So change our sign and flip our second one. Multiply straight across. So we get 3. 3 times 2 we get 6, and always simplify. So 3 goes into both, so we get 1/2 as our answer. Okay, I know I taught some of you guys cross canceling, so keep our first number, change our sign, and we're going to flip. Okay, so here I will show you cross canceling. 1, okay, 1 can't go into 2, 2 can't go into 1, so that will have to stay the same. So if I notice here, 3 can go into 3, so they can go into each other. So 3 divided by 3 changes it to a 1. Same thing here. Multiply straight across, so we get 1. Straight across this way, 1 times 2, we get 2. So you still get the same thing. Alright.